So, ladies and gentlemen, from the moment this guy was born to the moment he died, he was true red, white, and blue Montreal Canadiens. If you mention the Montreal Canadiens of the 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s, this guy, it is the Montreal Canadiens. Although he wasn't the greatest head coach of all time, he had his dedication to his players and to the tricolor movement earned him respect from people throughout the globe. Of course, we're going to be talking about the great Claude Ruel. Now, Claude Ruel was a ice hockey coach and player for a number of seasons. Now, he grew up playing hockey in Sherbrooke. Now, he was considered to be a promising young defensive talent despite his small size. However, during a game in '58, he was struck in the eye by a deflected puck, and following the injury, he was hospitalized for 3 months, but his eyesight could not be restored. Now, in the early '60s, Ruel stayed with the Habs and received his first coaching job, taking a position with the Montreal Junior Canadiens. Now, he became a heavy part of the Habs farm system and was their squad's top scouts and helped garner many top players for the Habs. Now, he was elevated to the front office of the squad and later served as director of player development. So every young player pretty well went through him. Now, Ruel was hired to be head coach of the Habs in '68, replacing the legendary Toe Blake. He led a talented group of players to a Stanley Cup championship. However, the following season, Montreal was the odd team out in a tight 5-team original six battle for 4 playoff spots. Now, he did start the '71 season behind the bench, but decided to step down 23 games into the season because the pressure of life behind the bench was too hard on his health. Now, he subsequently returned to his role as director of player development, but he took over as the Montreal coach again in '79, leading the team for 1.5 years during the waning days of the 1970s dynasty. Now, Ruel had many roles with the Habs. If you read the book The Game, it talks about the fact he was offering assistant coach or as a practice coach for Montreal. There was many players he helped guide. I think Ruel's main goal was he could see talent in somebody that wasn't there yet. Now, he said in published reports in a lot of Quebec papers, he said, I had a knack for something. He said it was determining who would make the best Montreal Canadiens. Because back in the day, the Habs were the first franchise to not only look at the scoring and physical touch, but somebody could fit in the mold of what it took to be a tricolore. Now, Claude Ruel was probably, again, very underrated. I think down the road you might see him in the Hall of Fame. It really depends if the league wants to take a look at people that were head coaches, but it gave a lot to hockey for scouting and for being kind of the heart of their squads. If you have a chance, read the book The Game. It's a better background as to what Claude Ruel's style was. But we still see him behind the bench in the old tapes. And '69, that was a really good cup year for Montreal. He did very well with the team. But I think the pressures of coaching, especially not missing the playoffs in 1970, really got to him. And remember 1971, he had a bad start to the year. Now, the Claude Ruel team of the early 80s weren't really reflective of him. They were reflective of kind of a team concept in regards to getting the Habs back where he needed to be. Now, 1980 was a rough year on him too. I don't expect he was think that the North Stars were going to be that much trouble. Maybe to undercoach too much, let more of the veterans take over. But for me, Claude Ruel has my respect because his dedication to the Habs encompassed really 7 decades, or part of 60 years over 7 decades. Tremendous, and a very jovial guy too. If you ever a chance to meet him, very a man of hockey, like a lot of the people who were coming up in the system in the 1950s were, and the people that remained. And his passing was national news in Canada because, he is called by many people the lost Hab because he should have coached longer, and really the media just saw him as somebody that was just there. To me, he wasn't just there. Montreal couldn't have won all those cups without Claude Ruel. he was a turd mindset. You had Pollock, you had Scotty Bowman, and you had Claude Ruel. And what a great top three for any franchise to have in charge. Thanks for listening. Bye.